Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Mote. I'm a board-certified family physician and certified in functional medicine. Today I want to talk to you about a very popular topic called leaky gut. Leaky gut, also called increased intestinal permeability, is certainly a problem when it comes to chronic health and disease. But there's some information I'd like you to have and be knowledgeable. Number one, how do we confirm that you even have leaky gut? Because not everybody has a leaky gut, not one that's actually problematic. Though there is always some permeability within the human gut, is it too much is confirmed with a test called zonulin. You can measure zonulin in stool or blood, and if the levels are high, then yes, you have an altered intestinal permeability or a leaky gut, and then you can even see how bad it is. But that's a test that should be done to establish and to see the severity. Secondly, what caused it? You know, there are 3 or 4 real common causes and not 30 or 40, and they are gluten and the inflammation that it creates. Soy proteins also act like gluten to those sensitive individuals. Glyphosate, which is being talked about in the news for being one of the active ingredients in herbicides, and they absolutely cause leaky gut. And alcohol. Alcohol can actually pull apart the cells that line your intestine and cause the leaky gut. So those are the big ones to look for. Once we've established that you have it, then what are the after effects? What happens in the human body? Well, the first thing that most people don't talk about is that on the top of the cells that line your intestine, you have a thick, dense layer of mucus. And in those mucus layers, you have these microscopic Y-shaped proteins that act like border guards for us. They are the proteins, the antibodies and immunoglobulins that trap things that should not be in the human gut and definitely should not get through the intestinal lining. And like a straitjacket, they will bind whatever toxins they get hold of, and they will wash out when you avoid your urine, when you move your bowels, and when you blow your nose. So that's the first change that we see, and you can measure that with a saliva or stool test as well. And then what everybody thinks about is commonly the pulling apart of these cells. And what will happen is, instead of things being blocked, the tight junctions that hold these 2 cells together are disrupted. The proteins that hold them together are released. That's the zonulin. And then you will have toxins or foods crash through unrecognized until they hit here and the immune system responds. That's a highly inflammatory process. And that's the start of a lot of different chronic health problems. Joint pain, skin conditions, brain fog, food allergies, and 83 recognized autoimmune conditions. This is the gateway to autoimmunity. So how do we rectify this? Well, too much emphasis is placed on just taking nutritional products, when in fact you have to go back and you have to remove the inflammation. That means you cannot be eating gluten or soy in your diet. We have to get the foods that contain glyphosate, and that's a lot of things in our current food chain, and we cannot be having alcohol on a regular basis. If those persist, the products don't work. If you can get those off the plate, then the inflammation is resolved. Then simple things like L-glutamine, vitamin A, and zinc, as well as colostrum or probiotics, they work. And the time frame is typically 4 to 6 months to have a normal, healthy, absorptive gut once again.